She was bright, young, and full of life. She was just 16 years old. She went to a school sports day and never came home. Her body was later found locked away, hidden in a place no one expected. And the person accused of killing her? A classmate, a boy she may have trusted. This is the horrifying case of Deveney Nel. This is a story about betrayal, brutality, and a small-town nightmare. It was August 2024 in Caledon, a quiet town in South Africa's Western Cape province. Deveney Nel, just 16 years old, was a student at Overberg High School. On that Friday, the 16th of August 2024, the school held a sports day. Deveney Nel, like most students, attended with excitement, but she never returned home. By nightfall, her family was frantic. They contacted the police, and soon a missing person alert was issued. Friends, family, and community members joined in the search.
Hours later, the unthinkable occurred. A storeroom custodian unlocked a rarely used storeroom on the school property. What he found inside would haunt this town forever. Devony's lifeless body was found. She had been stabbed multiple times. Inside her own school, a place where she was supposed to be protected. Police sealed off the scene. Forensics moved in. Whispers began to ripple through the community. Who could have done this? And why would they target Devony? Just days later, police made a shocking arrest. A 17-year-old boy, a fellow student, someone who had attended the same school, walked the same halls, maybe even sat beside her in class. The town was stunned. A child accused of killing another child on school property. Rumors swirled about motive. Was it jealousy? Was it rejection? He was charged with murder. He abandoned his right to apply for bail. Because he was a minor at the time of the alleged crime, a psychiatric evaluation was ordered. After 30 days of psychiatric evaluation at Valkenburg Hospital, he was declared fit to stand trial. But what many didn't know at the time was that this was not the first time this boy had been accused of a violent crime. On New Year's Eve 2020, a group of children went on a camping trip. Among them was an 11-year-old girl and the accused boy, who was just 13 years old at the time. During that trip, the 11-year-old girl would later allege that he sexually assaulted her. The allegations were serious. The boy accused of the assault was reportedly referred for psychiatric and psychological evaluation to determine criminal capacity in accordance to the South African Child Justice Act. It was found that he exhibited cognitive weakness, moral immaturity, and lacked criminal capacity to be held accountable at that age. In 2023, 3 years after the sexual assault allegation, the National Prosecuting Authority withdrew the case. The reason? South African law presumes children under a certain age may not fully understand right from wrong, and thus cannot always be prosecuted if it's determined that they lack criminal capacity, as it was in this case. Psychologists had, however, recommended that he be enrolled in a specialized program designed for young sex offenders. But according to multiple reports, that recommendation was never followed through. Neither the school nor the education department appeared to have any record of the prior allegations. There was no monitoring, no risk assessment, nothing that might have prevented what came next. By the time Deveney Nel was murdered in 2024, the accused had been walking freely, his past legally erased by age and systemically ignored by institutions tasked with protecting children. The mother of the 11-year-old girl who first came forward in 2020 has since spoken publicly, devastated by the fact that her daughter's cries for help went unanswered. No one was held responsible for what happened to her daughter. And now, she's calling for accountability from the very system that failed 2 children. This isn't just about one case, or even 2.
This is about how children fall through the cracks of a justice system not built to handle complexity, trauma, or early signs of violence. Now, both victims, one who lived and one who died, have become symbols of a system in desperate need of reform. Deveney Nel should be alive today. The warning signs were there, the reports were filed, the decisions were made, and still, nothing was done. The storeroom where her body was found was locked from the outside. This wasn't random. It was planned and executed. Activists called for the accused to be tried as an adult, but the boy is tried as a minor under the Child Justice Act, even though he is presumed to be at least 18 years old now. He cannot be tried as an adult under South African law, because the alleged crime was committed when he was 17 years old. This case was transferred from Caledon Magistrates Court to the Western Cape High Court. The first official appearance at the High Court was on the 12th of September 2025. Devony's family and the community are still waiting for justice. They're waiting to understand what happened in that dark storeroom, and most of all, why a young life so full of promise was stolen in such a brutal and senseless way. But the public may never hear the full story. Because he was a minor at the time of the alleged crime, much of the trial will be held in camera, behind closed doors. His identity also remains protected under South African law. This case raises painful questions about safety, trust, and what can hide behind the face of a teenage boy.
Devony deserves more than headlines. She deserves to be remembered, not as a victim, but as a daughter, a friend, a student, and a bright light extinguished too soon. Rest in peace, Deveney Nel. If you believe this story needs to be heard, share it, speak up, and demand a justice system that protects the most vulnerable before it's too late. We will follow this story and update you on the outcome of the trial. This has been True Crime 24/7. Stay safe, stay aware.